Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to go through how you can very easily remove the footer or the header for the same matter in Word. Okay, we're going to start off with this document over here. This is just dummy text. Now as you can see, or perhaps as you can't see, there is no header or footer visible here. Okay, however I do know that it is here. I know it's here simply because first of all I made it, and second of all because if I were to print preview, okay, so let's say I go to print and then I click on print preview, you'll see that in the print preview I've got, this is my header, this is my footer. Okay, so very obviously there is a header and footer here. So the first thing I'm going to do is ensure that we can actually see the header and the footer. Then I'm going to remove it, and then I'm going to show you how to resize the margins so that if you don't have a header and footer, perhaps you actually want to show and print more of the page. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to double click over here to show the white space. Okay, and there we go. Okay, it's the same for between every single page. I've done it at the top of the document, but you can do exactly the same by just scrolling down with your mouse. See, in between the two different pages there is this line, so you just have to double click it here. Okay, that's the first thing, and there you can see the header and the footer. Okay, the easiest way to do it once you've done that is there are two different ways. Okay, if we're talking about just one line, so I've double clicked inside it with my mouse. Okay, you see that the actual text has changed from black to grey. This is grey. Now I'm in the actual text, but if I double click in the footer, you'll see it's highlighted the footer and the normal rest of the document has gone grey. So the easiest thing is just to press delete. Okay, and that's it. Okay, that's one way to remove the footer. And if you remove the footer in one area of the document, it affects every single one of the footers across the document, except if you're using different sections, which is not something I'm going to go into right now. Okay, that's the first way. The second way to do so is, if you're in the header and is to go back to the document. Okay, then on the insert menu over here, you click on, because I've already removed the footer, so I'm going to remove the header this time, but it's exactly the same. You can see the header and the footer buttons are next to each other, so I'm going to click on header, and I'm just going to click over here right at the bottom where it says remove header. I'm going to remove the header, and it's been removed. Okay, and that's fantastic. That's the simple, easy way to remove the header or to remove the footer for that example. However, now you can see that there is a significant amount of space between where my text starts and where and the top of the page, between the top of the page and where my text starts. So I don't want to, I guess, waste paper by having such large margins. So I want to remove some of that margin. So there are, I would say, two different ways of doing it. There is the general way of doing it, and then there is the more advanced way of doing it. You can use, first of all, you can just use the Windows defaults. Okay, to see the Windows defaults, you navigate to layout, then you click on margins, and then you can just select whichever one of these you want. Let's say if I click change it to narrow, then you will see the change immediately. Okay, that's one option of doing it, narrow, moderate, whatever. If you want to see it a bit better, I would suggest shrinking your document. At the moment this is actually times 200, so I'm going to change it to 100. I'm going to do that by pressing holding down control and just scrolling with my mouse, and you can see it shrinking down. You can see it in the corner that it's gone down to 100% now. Okay, and this is the margin that you're going to see on the actual page. Now to my eyes that still looks wrong. Okay, if I go to the first page, I'm going to click over here. For me it just looks wrong. Okay, and this is still called moderate. I see what it is on the top, and I see what it is on the side. So you can do it with the custom margins. Okay, by clicking here, and then at the top, see on the left it's 1.9, 1.9, and I want to have it 1.9 across the whole thing. So if I just click and I just do 1.9 on both of them, you don't need to write in CM. You can use the arrows as well, and then you can press OK. you'll see the change, and it still looks it looks reasonable. Okay, however, for me, I like to do it slightly different. Okay, I like to have better control of it myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the ruler tool. So in order to access the ruler, you can see this ruler already on the side. Okay, but if you don't see it, then you click on view, and over here you see you've got ruler, grid lines, and navigation pane. So there, if I click off the ruler, then it's disappeared, and I'm going to click on it again, and it has reappeared. So if you see on the ruler over here, I'm going to actually make this bigger again so that you can see the difference a bit better. So you see the difference where my text actually starts is signified by this white, and then further up it's gone a greyish colour. Okay, so very easily, if you saw what happens over here, I move my mouse to the ruler, I've got my arrow over here that has changed, and in fact it's come up and it said top margin. If I scroll to the bottom of this page, okay, I'm gonna have the same thing, but it's gonna say bottom margin. Okay, so my header right now is too big, so I'm just gonna drag it across. As soon as I click, hold down my mouse, you'll see that I've got a dotted line appearing, and I can just drag it up or drag it down to wherever I actually want it. Okay, and let's say I want it this big. That's very, very large, but that's fine, and I've got that. I can do basically whatever I want with it. Okay, so I want it a bit higher, so that's where I want it to be. Okay, so that's the other way of doing it. I can do it similarly on the bottom, you see, and as I make it smaller, then I'm adding lines of text. Okay, if you're actually doing it for real, I would absolutely advise you to use the zoom function and have it on 100, because if you don't have it on 100, it's difficult to see exactly how your document will look, whereas if I'm holding up an actual A4 piece of paper, this is exactly the size that it will appear. That's the reason why I will advise doing this kind of thing at 100%, and you can see the line will appear either way. Okay, so as you can see, and if I've got it actually over 2 pages, then you can see. Okay, that is the very simple and easy way of not only how to remove a header and a footer, but how to resize the margins so that you're going to actually take advantage of every single part of the page. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and good luck.